I wanted to share with you on this mini episode the BJJ Retreat that Becoming Ohm holds every year in Tulum, Mexico. Last year, I had one of the most amazing experiences, probably the best veteran retreat / experience I've ever had. And it was thanks to Dave and Cordy, who put this on every year. And I'm going to be going back again this March. So we recorded a brief after action review of the retreat. And I wanted to share with you the fact that if you are thinking about outside the box therapies to bring yourself back to quote unquote normal, or to just heal from all the shit we had to deal with during our long ass careers, fighting the Taliban, being in the military, being a first responder, this may be something for you. So regardless if you've got any BJJ experience or any experience with plant medicine, this is hands down one of the best places to go to start the healing process. So learn a little bit here and get more details on everything I'm talking about in the description, and make sure to hit that like button so that more people can get tuned in, and share with a buddy. So enjoy, and see you on the other side. Peace. All right, Dave. So we just finished up the Operation Flowstate Retreat here for military veterans and first responders. So I want to know, man, what's the biggest thing that you've taken right from this retreat?
I mean, the coolest thing for me, nothing about this week is really designed to like be completely mind-blowing. Or rather, it's supposed to be an introduction and open your eyes to what's out there. So for instance, we had somebody here who's active duty police. So he wasn't participating in any of the medicines that might get him in trouble back home. But just during our breathwork ceremony, he was able to go really deep and have some major insights and some major healing from some of the traumatic things he experienced. We've had other people experiencing some plant medicine for the first time, and maybe it was a little underwhelming, but it actually showed them what's possible for them to not feel anxious, to not feel so much social anxiety, to not have these negative thought loops in their mind, to not have this negative self-talk running in the background all the time. So it's almost cool that these things can be really subtle, but it's those subtle shifts over time that make a huge difference in your life.
So as one of the main organizers of the retreat, what's been some of the highlights that you've seen so far since getting this off the ground and, seeing a bunch of veterans coming through, having not been a veteran yourself and working with a community that is pretty unique with its needs? What are some of the main things that you've noticed over the last few times running?
One super cool thing this time, we had a lot of beginners. Some people, it was like their first time rolling at all at this retreat. And we've already got one guy committed to going home and finding a jiu-jitsu gym and getting into training, which I think is awesome. Besides that, one of the really cool things to see is actually changes over time. So like we've got two guys where this is their second time coming back here. And I know for one guy, the first year was like an initiation for him to kind of start this whole medicine path. And he's since gone on retreats in Colombia and Peru, and he's really dedicated to becoming this healer in the veteran space. And the other guy, that's not his path to heal others, but like when I met him, he and his wife were separated, like talking about divorce. And now a year later, not to take all the credit for this, obviously, but between this retreat, going through our microdosing program and everything that he's experienced back home, he and his wife are closer than ever. They've dealt with some really difficult things with her family, and now they're considering having kids. And so seeing the changes of where someone was when they started, continuing to work with us at home in the microdosing program, and now seeing them in the same place, but a year later, it's incredible just the scope of change that's possible when those subtle shifts that I mentioned add up over time and when they put them into work on a day-to-day basis.
I hope they name their son Dave and their daughter Cordy. It'd only be appropriate. I think it'd only be appropriate. Amazing. Okay, so for a veteran or first responder that may be nervous, apprehensive, that, well, I've never really done jiu-jitsu, what's this plant medicine stuff? It's kind of out of my scope of possibilities for healing. What would you say to that individual that's kind of nervous about applying for something like this?
Two things. Number one, nothing changes if nothing changes, right? So if you've been trying the same methods to feel better for the last decade, and you still have all of the same problems, it might be time to try something new. And then number 2, there's a gentleman named Stephen Pressfield who wrote this book called War of Art. You familiar with that at all?
I've heard of it. Yeah,
So-
I haven't read it though.
In the War of Art, he personifies this resistance that we feel. So he says anytime we want to go from a lower plane to a higher, whether that's healing from trauma, starting a business, losing weight, whatever, we encounter resistance. And we can almost learn to listen to that resistance and use that as our North Star to guide us. So the idea being that wherever you feel the most resistance, that should actually indicate that's the direction you need to go in order to grow or in order to change. There's a quote from Joseph Campbell that says the same thing, like the cave you fear to enter holds the treasure that you seek. So if you're looking at all this and you're like, that sounds kind of interesting, but I don't know about this, sounds hard, sounds scary, sounds uncomfortable, it's kind of the point. And it's only by going into that discomfort that you're actually going to get any changes.
I love it, man. Having now, been in your sphere now for, I think it's about 3 years, from the first time we kind of met online to now physically coming to see you and actually participate in this retreat. I can't thank you enough, man. It's been incredible, just from our first podcast to now. Just my progression has been really something that I'm actually proud of. And just like the individual you were talking about before, I went through some really tough times with my wife, but we managed to bring it back. I used microdosing as a part of that process, and now we're stronger and happier than ever. So Dave, what do you see the next steps for this retreat, and what would you like an individual that's listening to this to take action on next?
I'm laughing because every time we do one of these in the lead up to it, the logistics are so much work that I'm like, this is the last retreat I'm ever running. I'm never doing it again. And then by the middle of the week, me and Cordy are looking at dates for next year because everyone's like, this is incredible. I can't wait to come back, all of this. So no dates to announce or anything yet. I can give you a link maybe if you want to share for a wait list to get on to
Absolutely.
get announced. But
Check in the description.
best thing to do is just follow us on Instagram at becoming.om. That's OM, sound OM like that. Stay up to date on all the stuff that we're doing. We have our microdosing program. If basically you don't want to wait until the next retreat, that's kind of the beauty of it. It meets you where you're at, or stay tuned for more retreats next year.
I love it. Dave, I'm gonna shake your hand, man. This was an amazing retreat. Honestly, best one I've ever done. I've done a few. This by far gave me the most amount of perspective, and has definitely changed who I am. So I appreciate that, man.
Thank you. And thanks to the Canadian government for funding Dave's trip through the VAC.
Absolutely, man. We almost forgot to mention that. Folks, if you want more information on that, I will gladly share with you the episode we've done and the additional trainings on just how to set yourself up so that you can actually benefit from something that's completely rad and outside the box, and was honestly the easiest process I ever did back, hands down, to be able to pay for me to come down. So if that's an issue for you, let me know in the comments and I'll send you all the information. So Dave, thanks so much, man. I really appreciate everything you're doing here for the community, and you're really changing a lot.
Thank you, man. Sure.